The LGB Alliance had a stall at this week's Conservative Party conference. It's the second year in a row that the campaign group has been at the conference, though they were nearly excluded from last year's event after a protest by the party's official LGBT group, the LGBT Plus Conservatives. LGB Alliance were not permitted to attend the Labour, the Lib Dems and SNP conferences this year or last year. Now, I spoke to Bev Jackson from LGB Alliance in Birmingham at the Tory Party conference earlier this week. Last year there was a bit of hostility towards your presence at the conference. Do you think that things have improved?
Oh, I think they've improved massively. And what we've really noticed this year, I mean, we had a very positive reception last year once we were in. And we've had not only a positive reception this year, but people know more. Last year we had a lot of people saying, what are you about? And this year people know that, so you definitely get the impression that there is a new kind of atmosphere. There's more knowledge among the general public as to the issues that we're facing.
But people will say, you know, well, you're at the Tory Party conference, not at the Labour Party conference. Does this suggest it's a partisan movement, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, not at all. Of course, we tried to get into all party conferences. Labour just refuses us out of hand. At the Lib Dems, we were accepted until a few noisy voices said, oh, no, we can't have that. And then we were... there had been a so-called administrative error, and we tried to contact them and get some sensible reply, and we haven't had one. So obviously we're not a political organisation at all. We operate across the political spectrum, and we hope to be at all party conferences.
Can you explain to people watching why it is important that lesbian, gay and bisexual people can organise separate to transgender people, which is of course a different cause?
Well, it's really important to organise for people who have same-sex sexual orientation, just like I did in 1970 when I was one of the founding members of the Gay Liberation Front at LSE. And I said then, it's important to know we're not ashamed to be homosexual. It's terrible, I have to say the same thing again. But as you know, we're just about to have our second annual conference at the QE2 Centre in the heart of Westminster, and we hope that you'll come, we hope that everybody will come, and people who have heard odd things about us do come and find out what we're really about, because we're really about protecting the rights and interests of people with same-sex sexual orientation.
I mean, so much of the language is getting changed, and people are talking about how homosexuality is same-gender attraction, and actually this sort of gets to the heart of what it means to be gay. It's about biological sex. It's about that recognition, isn't it?
Well, it absolutely is. And homophobia is still rampant throughout the world. And we do feel that the pendulum has swung this year, and our conference is much larger and more international than last year. I'll be doing a panel, for instance, on fighting homophobia around the world with a man from Uganda, a woman from India, and a Green MP from Austria, and a man from the United States, all of whom will have very different views on how we have to fight homophobia. Let's not forget that homophobia still exists also in the UK, and it isn't the same as identity issues. We need to separate them, because people with same-sex sexual orientation who aren't interested in gender issues need to have their rights protected, as they are in the Equality Act.
I mean, I've seen a lot of old-fashioned style homophobic tropes coming from gender identity ideologues. They now seem to think that there's a war on between these people, but it's perfectly possible for people to coexist and not have this conflict, isn't it?
Of course, and one of the nice things that happened at the beginning of this conference was that some people came over from LGBT conservatives to talk to us and say that this year they were very happy for us to have a stand here, so the relations are improving, and we hope that we can get together and have a conversation in which we discover what we have in common. We have an awful lot in common. There are some things, areas on which we disagree, especially the medicalisation of children, teenagers, who think that they might be the opposite sex, and who later, 10 years later sometimes, realise that they were just gay, or in many cases lesbian.
Yes. Tell us about the conference then. So you've got the LGB conference. It's on 21st of October.
Yes, the 21st of October at the QE2 Centre in the heart of Westminster. So if you go to our website, you can easily find tickets there. And as I say, it's going to be a huge conference this year, and it's taking place in a very different atmosphere, an atmosphere in which the public has now become alert to the different points of view that there are. The public is engaged, and we've sold more tickets already now than we had last year. And as I say, we have an international panel. We also have a large youth contingent, and there'll be a really important young people's event on the things that young people, or children and young young people are watching online, which I think will really quite surprise a lot of people. So a lot is going on. We'll have some breakout sessions and much more participation than last year, and a disco. So, it's going to be a great day.
And a lot of your detractors, the people who say all sorts of things about you online, who've fallen for the myths that have been spread about you, shouldn't they come along as well and discuss?
Of course, they should come and engage with other people. One of the worst things about this whole sex and gender issue is suppression of debate. And when people only exist in their own bubbles and don't engage with other people, we can't advance. You do need to talk to people who disagree with you. I was just talking to some young people who really didn't agree with me, but they were willing to listen and talk to me, and I'd much rather have discussions like that all day than simply talk to other people who agree with me.
Yeah, well, there's hope for the future, I think.
I think there is a lot. As I said, the pendulum has swung.
Bev Jackson, thanks very much.
Thank you.